America's original butcher.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Bob's Steak and Chop House, located in the Omni Nashville Hotel, is a nationally renowned steakhouse specializing in the finest corn-fed Midwestern prime beef. The menu formula is simple: incredible meat, gigantic shrimp, fabulous salads, and decadent desserts. Start your experience at Bob's with the fried calamari or fresh scallops seared in Texas burnt honey. All the beef at Bob's Steak and Chop House are USDA prime cuts. From the traditional filet of tenderloin and ribeye to the adventurous Kansas City bone-in strip. They even have 2 different surf and turf options. And if you're looking for the other white meat, Bob's Steak and Chop House serves a dry-aged pork tomahawk with homemade applesauce. Fresh seafood is on the menu, from salmon to scampi, and even fresh lobster tail. For reservations, give them a call or log on to the Omni Nashville Hotel website. Bob's Steak and Chop House at the Omni Nashville Hotel.
From the Nashville Sports Radio Media Complex, this is the George Plaster Show. Call George now at 615-844-5600 and online at WNSR.com. And now, George Plaster.
Featuring Tennessee Sports Hall of Famer Watson Brown, Tennessee Sports Hall of Famer Kelly Holcomb, along with Young Gun Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in. It is, well, it's a beautiful Friday. That's what it is. Temperatures are not hot. They're not ridiculously hot. If you're going to a baseball game like the Sounds, should be perfect weather. If you happen to be in Knoxville, you're probably not listening to this, but it looks like the weather is pretty decent for a day game. Tennessee and Evansville are going at it right now. Billy Derrick is with us. He will join us here in a matter of seconds. Billy, if you're there, punch in.
I'm here.
Beautiful. How are you?
I'm good, George. Voice still struggling, but we're here and accounted for, so that's good.
What are you told? What's the future of your voice?
You know, hopefully it's not, because we talked about your experiences, and yours was obviously a little bit more
mine
severe.
It was a little serious.
Yeah, just a little bit more severe than mine, but no, I think it'll wear off hopefully within the next week or so. It's gotten better. I mean, that first, I think it was Tuesday, that was a rough update, but we're getting there. So hopefully within the next week or so we'll be good. Yeah.
So have you been watching the Super Regionals?
I have. How about earlier today? Florida State and UConn, and you know, we talked about UConn being a team that, you know, good program. They've had some good teams. They lose 24-4 against Florida State, and you know, Florida State's the home team, but that's ugly.
Shouldn't be 24-4.
No, and you just mentioned Tennessee right now. They lead Evansville 8-5 in the top of the sixth. I'll tell you what, George, that Evansville team, that's a tough group. That center fielder almost had a phenomenal grab, and that led to another Tennessee run. But, you know, we've talked a lot about Tennessee, that they hit the long ball, you know, but it feels like a lot of their runs are the long ball. So I think that's going to be something once they get to Omaha, because I think they will. You know, are they too reliant? That's going to be a big question. And Florida State would be their first opponent in Omaha, which, you know, that head coach, Link Jarrett, was the Notre Dame head coach a couple years ago when they knocked off Tennessee in the Super. So that would be an interesting matchup. But this lineup, George, for Tennessee is scary, and they're showing it today.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's my Braves background. A year ago, I felt like that team was too reliant on the long ball, and when they got to the the NLCS against Philly and they couldn't hit,
Yeah.
suddenly they were a one-trick pony. I do worry about that with Tennessee. You're right. This is a pesky Evansville team, and I do wonder if Evansville had had a shutdown fifth inning and they'd gone to the sixth tied at 5-5 instead of 8-5, what happens? Because so far in the regionals, every time, because Tennessee's pitching isn't all that good. It's not national title good pitching. Now, hitting, that's a totally different story, especially when they're in Knoxville. Balls travel out of that park. It reminds me of the old Atlanta Stadium launching pad. This place is a launching pad.
And with today's bats, today's balls, in a launching pad like that, you're gonna lift some out of there. And Evansville's done it. They hit one early, and they came close on another one. So that's why it's dangerous. You know, Tennessee has the advantage being the home team. They're familiar with the park. But the other team, your opponent, can lift some out of that park too. So it'll be fun to see. Can Tennessee win tomorrow? How dominant are they the rest of this weekend? I'll be looking for.
One of the things that I'm figuring out, I've now seen enough games in Lindsey Nelson Stadium. Whichever team it is, you can't walk people.
Nope.
Tennessee has walked now 2 here in the 6th inning, and Tony Vitello, I don't know what he's arguing with the umpires about, but whatever the case, balls travel way too far to be putting people on with free passes.
Poor pitchers that have to go into that park. Yeah, whether you're a Tennessee pitcher or a visiting pitcher. Now, Tennessee pitchers feel more comfortable, but my goodness, imagine pitching up there on that mound as the opponent and at Lindsey Nelson. Not something I wish on my worst enemy.
They can get a little shell-shocked.
They can. But, George, we do have a little bit of news today. I wouldn't say this is the busiest update today, but it is brought to you by Lori Burnett Leland. MortgageLadyUSA.com is the website. You can give her a call, 615-969-4350. Did you see the game last night?
Of course.
How about Kristaps
I feel
Porzingis?
really – I know. Whew. After I said that the book on him at times has been looks like Tarzan, plays like Jane. And that was the reputation back in his Dallas days and before that with the Knicks. But this guy came off the disabled list. He hadn't played in 5.5 weeks, and you would have never known it. I mean, he's the reason that game turned into a blowout.
20 points. He hit a couple of early threes there. He also had 6 rebounds. So, he gets into the post. George, a lot of times he would have a guard on him, just backs him down, and then rises up. And his game is really unique. I mean, you think of a lot of, what is he? He's 7 foot, right?
Oh, he's more like 7'4".
At 7'4", Jokic doesn't have that game. Certainly, I don't know that there's a 7'3", 7'4" guy ever with his game, and it's fun to watch. And you're right, he was the reason last night. I mean, without him, that's a closer game. And this goes overlooked or underlooked, but the Mavericks battled back. They cut it to 8 there late.
Yeah.
And Kyrie was doing all he could, but like I said, they got to have a third guy. And you look at the box score, P.J. Washington only 14 points. Kyrie only had 12. So you're going to have more from Kyrie there if you're the Mavericks. But, I mean, Porzingis, if he's playing like that, this might be a quicker series than we thought.
I think I got one right in that Boston appeared to be the team that was able to use the rest. Dallas looked like there was some rust.
Yep.
And, the Celtics, they've been there more often. They haven't always been there with success, but they've been there more often. And last night, it might have shown a little bit.
Yep. Game 2 will be Sunday night, if I'm not mistaken here. Checking. Yep. Sunday night, 7 o'clock. ABC, Boston's the favorite again, 7.5-point favorite. And that crowd was awesome. I mean, credit to the TD Garden, man. And they were happy to see Kristaps. So the Celtics end up winning game 1, taking it over the Mavericks. So we'll see what happens on Sunday night. You got to believe the Mavericks need that one. I mean, you don't want to go down 2-0. You are going home after Sunday night, but that's a tough ask if you go down 0-2, and then you got to try to battle back.
I think just as important, Sunday night, whether they win or lose, is that they go in and scare Boston a little bit and sort of say, listen, when you come to Dallas, this isn't going to be playtime. They need to put a little bit of seed of doubt in the Celtics. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. It feels like to me, you know exactly what you're going to get from Luka. What a stud he is. But Kyrie has got to give you a lights-out performance if they're going to win in Boston. He's got to be out of his mind. And then you got to hope that you get performances from others to help. But those two, it seems to me, have got to combine for close to 60, and that's a lot.
Yeah, we talked about a third guy, George, but you got to have the first two as well. You didn't really have the full Kyrie Irving experience, so he's going to have to be better.
I don't doubt that he was a little bit rattled last night. He was not exactly given a hero's welcome.
No, and I think he's 0-11 in his last 11 tries against the Celtics since they showed this, him stomping on the logo. I want to say in the bubble. Was that the COVID playoffs?
I don't know.
I think it might.
I don't know.
I can't remember, but either
whatever.
way,
he's viewed. He might as well be a New York Yankee for the way they treat him.
I know, it's funny. That's what I love about those Boston fans. I mean, anything they can rally behind, they will. So they'll be ready again Sunday night. Speaking of the NBA, though, George, we talked about the Inside the NBA show with Shaq, Charles Barkley, Ernie Johnson, Kenny Johnson, of course. Adam Silver made some comments on the TV deals, the new deals that have been speculated, and even he had a response to a question about TNT's Inside the NBA ending. He said, it's been difficult. That show in particular is special, and I have a close relationship with everyone who's on that show from the time they played in the league. And Ernie Johnson and I have been friends forever. George, that's a tough position for Silver. And, there's got to be part of him sitting there saying, this is a huge part of our league that's ending after one more year. So my question is, does he find a way to keep them, whether it's, they couldn't move it to ESPN, surely not, because ESPN already has their own crew, but they got to find a way to keep that one way or the other, I think.
Well, first of all, not that these groups need or want my advice. If I'm ESPN, if they are free agents, if they're available, I go hire them. Now, what you do with Stephen A. and Michael Wilbon, I'm not sure, because both of them are positives. The rest of their halftime, you can throw it out the window. What I wonder, and we'll find out eventually, is TNT even close in their offer compared to whoever it is they might lose it to? Because I would argue if it's close, I give the nod to TNT for 30 years of what they've done for the league. Now, if they go dollar for dollar, then you could say, well, you know what? Your greediness for $1 is you this. But if it's close, I'm sticking with TNT because they are a huge part of why this league now has the popularity that it does. That show is what's done it.
Absolutely, and we talked about multiple reports over the last few weeks have stated that ESPN, NBC, and Amazon will become the league's rights partners after next season, leaving TNT out. So, and you brought this up to me, George, maybe Chuck, Shaq, Ernie, Kenny, and those guys start to do their own thing and then wait for another network to pick them up. Or, especially nowadays, people, you could throw it on YouTube, Twitter. People are going to watch that. That's the thing about it, whether they're on TNT or not.
Barkley supposedly has his own production company.
Yeah.
And I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I don't doubt that he put it together just for this scenario to say to an Amazon or whoever, hey, we're under this umbrella. You either take all of us or you get none of us. And I think Barkley has the leverage, and he's enough of a smartass to pull this off.
Sure is. He sure is. All right, let's get to some baseball. The Yankees have said that Juan Soto is dealing with left forearm inflammation, but luckily for Terry McCormick, our resident Yankee fan, Aaron Boone said earlier today that he isn't expected to need a stint on the IL. No ligament damage in his elbow. Boone said he's day-to-day. So,
Billy, we're all day-to-day. Here's the thing on Soto. Soto is now in a park where if he stays there for the next 10 years, he's going in the Hall of Fame. He is that good a hitter, and that right field porch in Yankee Stadium, it's like it was designed for him. But Scott Boras, as you know, is anything but my favorite. Scott Boras, yes, he has gotten some people some great deals, but he has also screwed over some clients. And I think a couple of these pitchers, Jordan Montgomery and Blake Snell, are paying the price right now for him leaving them out on the market too long. It would not shock me if Boras ends up shipping Soto somewhere besides the Yankees at the end of the year. If I'm Soto, I'm telling Boras, look, I'm in control. You get me a deal with the Yankees.
Kumar Rocker was a Boras client, correct?
Yeah, how'd that work out?
Not great.
Yeah.
I did hear. I saw a tweet where he'll be coming back here soon, fully healthy. So good for him. Well, obviously Jack Leiter, we've seen what he's been able to do healthy. We got to get Rocker back healthy. Georgia. Lastly, here before we get to Jeff Hem after the break, Stanley Cup Final begins tomorrow night, and I love this series. This is really interesting. That the dynamic here with the travel. We talked about that with Mike DeLillo yesterday. Who do you like here? Because the Panthers are the favorites, but not by much. The big money is largely backing them, but we've got about a dead even split with the Oilers for betting slips. Across the sportsbook marketplace, neither team have attracted a consensus majority of tickets. ESPN Bet has the highest percentage of Oiler bets with 55%. FanDuel has the Florida Panthers tickets at 58%. All other books polled are within those numbers, but Caesars categorized the ticket split as 50-50.
Yeah.
So,
if you put a gun to my head, it's Florida in 7. I will be shocked if this series goes 4 or 5, but it's two really contrasting styles. Florida is a gritty, wants to play 2-1. Edmonton wants to play more 5-4 with their offensive talent. It's two contrasting styles, and there's going to be a lot of that.
A lot of Bob as well, Sergei Bobrovsky.
Yeah,
it's going to be. I love that nickname.
Don't forget Mr. Draisaitl.
Mr. Draisaitl.
Yeah.
Yes. That's what I got.
We done?
Yep.
Okay. After the break, Sounds play-by-play voice Jeff Hem is going to join us from First Horizon Park. Our show is abbreviated today. We'll be out of here around 5:25 for Atlanta Braves baseball in our nation's capital against the Nats. We will open the phone lines around 4:40 to give you all an opportunity to talk a little bit. Tennessee leads Evansville 8-5 as they go to the top of the 7th inning. We will keep you as updated as we can on that, and we will go to our first commercial break and tell you that you're listening to the George Plaster Show on 95.9 FM.
It was the most horrible experience that any mother could ever go through. I knew that I needed to get help. My friend, she immediately said, "You need to call Bart Durham." And you guys were there within an hour. You guys are like family for us.
Yeah, sure is nice to connect with the people that you're doing your best to help.
Nashville, get ready for the greatest show on turf. Electrifying, high-octane, non-stop spring football action. Starting at only $30. Don't miss the season opener this April 27th at Municipal Auditorium.
Hi, I'm Jeff Fisher. The Nashville Cats are bringing arena football back to Nashville.
Grab your tickets now at thenashvillecats.com and be part of the action. Year number 2 of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night was awesome. And the reason is really simple. I chose Strike and Spare, and they were amazing. They have great food, great bowling, and a staff that is truly ready to go the extra mile to help you. They have 5 family fun centers in the area to choose from, and for more info, go to strikeandspare.com or call them at 615-824-5688.
Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
Achieve their goals. As your full-service community bank, we are proud to offer loans with competitive rates, local decision-making, and fast, friendly service from our experienced lenders. No matter where you are on your financial journey, Wilson Bank & Trust is ready to help you take the next step. Visit your nearest Wilson Bank & Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Okay, we welcome all of you back. Quick update from Knoxville. Tennessee leads Evansville 8-5 in the top of the 7th. The Vols have gotten 2 out with nobody on for Evansville, so they've gotten 2 really good innings so far of relief pitching, which is exactly what they need. Game 2 will be tomorrow morning. I'm not making this up. At 10 o'clock in the morning, Nashville time, 11 o'clock Knoxville time. So if you're a Tennessee fan, I would say get your pastry and then get on with it at 10 in the morning. Tennessee gets them 3 up, 3 down. So now 7th inning stretch time at Lindsey Nelson, 8-5, Tennessee leading Evansville. We will keep you updated. Okay, let's head out to First Horizon Park. Say hello to Sounds play-by-play voice Jeff Him. Jeff, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Good. We're in a little different setting today. We're in the rec room.
Oh, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. By the way, congrats on the Chamber of Commerce weather for this weekend, which I think I know means when you play Louisville tonight and tomorrow night, you're going to have great crowds.
It should be that way. I hope you're right. We're due, I think, for a nice, smooth weekend and shaping up to be a good one. We've got fireworks tonight and a good weekend coming up. Night game again tomorrow, and then a 2:05 matinee on Sunday to wrap up the series before we go to Gwinnett for our first look at Braves AAA next week, George.
Who's down there? Do I know any? Well, okay, Bryce Elder is down there.
Yeah.
And you're going to see him. And to me, he is the missing piece right now in their quest for a fifth starter. He should have been it.
Yeah, it's just funny. Like you would think I've started to prep a little bit for that series, but I have not. It's an interesting dynamic at this level, working on prep and trying to work ahead a little bit. For example, I've not gotten a Gwinnett rotation for that matter to tell you where Elder will fit in. But with 3 more games yet here in this series, I just have not looked that far ahead. I do know that they have Ramon Laureano there after signing him to that minor league free agent deal as sort of insurance or depth following the Acuna news. And they have another former Sound that I'm trying to look up their roster while we're doing this on the fly. That's the total pro I am. That's not being ready for the question.
I love it.
And looking it up. So, we can, I was trying to pull up, let's see, Gwinnett. They've got Laureano. You're right about Elder. Schwellenbach is still up with Atlanta, is he not? Yes.
He is getting a third start. He got bombed a couple of days ago in the second start, but they're giving him a third start early next week against Baltimore.
And that was a call-up from Double-A, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think you're right.
The Braves, it's interesting about that, too. The Brewers have done that once this year, and I could not recall an instance where they had done that previously. Every organization, I feel like, is a little bit different, but the Braves have had no shyness about doing that the last several years, right? It's not it's not the norm. They still go to Gwinnett usually, but they've had several guys, I feel like, go right from Double-A to the big leagues. It's just an interesting dynamic the way that has played out.
Didn't Strider do that?
I feel like he did, because I just know in the last few years we've gone to Gwinnett, we've seen a starter, and I start to read up on him, and I realized he's been to the big leagues, yet not at AAA very much yet. Gwinnett's got one of my all-time favorite Sounds, Eli White, who is a shortstop center fielder. We had him in 19 with the Rangers. He looks like he's having a good year with Gwinnett. They've got Laureano's hitting 355 in his first 7 games down there. So that's an interesting one. And then Yuli Gurriel is down there too. And it looks like former Sound Sky Bolt is on that team too. So we're going to have a lot of familiar faces that we'll see next week when we take on the Stripers.
By the way, Billy, I don't know if you're in a position to put this where Jeff can see it. Jeff, I'm going to laughingly say one of your relatives put this up here, says Jeff Him is way too good to be stuck in AAA. He's better than 80% of the Major League Baseball play-by-play announcers. Okay.
Geez.
First of all,
hi, Mom. Let me say hi to Mom.
Dad, how you doing? Good to see both of you. By the way, I happen to agree with that. You and I have talked about this. I believe in the broadcast world, the climb from the minor leagues to the major leagues is the single toughest broadcast hurdle in sports broadcasting, period. I'm embarrassing you, aren't I?
Well, it's hard for me to answer that or really respond to that. It's obviously not an easy climb. I think part of what makes it challenging at times, I've told people this industry in general, this is not about specifically about trying to get to the big leagues as a broadcaster, but this industry in general can, as far as play-by-play, and you are and have been a play-by-play guy, George. I'm sure you would back this up. It is both the most encouraging and at the same time frustrating component in that there's no one way to do it. There's no template overall that says, well, if you go here and then you go here, then you'll get there. You look at the backgrounds of so many of these people across our industry, and it's a path that is not point A to point B and then B to C. And like I said, sometimes you're like, all right, I love to hear that because the path that I or whomever we might be talking about is on could be the path that gets, to the end goal. But at the same time, when you're on a certain path, you want to know, all right, am I on a path that's leading somewhere? And so I think it's both encouraging and frustrating at the same time. And I'm sure there are other arenas of employment that have a similar structure to them, but there you just never know where the path is going to lead. And I told you this the other day when we were talking to an aspiring broadcaster, and I'll say it here because I mean it sincerely. You have to love where you're at in the process, and I feel so fortunate that if I never become a major league announcer, I'm happy where I'm at. I'm with a great front office, a great organization, and a great ballpark in a great city. There are other spots around this industry that I applied for along my path before I got here, didn't get those. I can look back and say, okay, blessing in disguise, as it turns out, that I didn't get that job that I applied for. So go ahead.
You want a funny story about that kind of thing?
Sure.
So when I was in my 20s, and I thought I was God's gift to play-by-play announcing, and I'm applying for different jobs, and the one I really wanted, worse than any of them, was Georgia Tech in the mid-'80s, and they ended up rehiring Al Seraldo, who they had fired 3 months earlier. They caught hell for it and brought him back. And a year later, the job that I got was the University of Memphis State at the time. And so I find out that, 80 trillion applicants, about 15 of whom were legit. And I was fortunate enough to get it. But I also applied at the same time for another job in the same league. At the time, University of Cincinnati. And I didn't even get so much as a cover letter back. We have received your tape, kiss our butt. You're not it. Nothing. And so we would play Cincinnati in the Metro Conference. And I told a guy who I got to be good friends with, I said, if I didn't like you, I'd cut y'all's wires. But that's the frustrating part is one school in a league says, oh, you're the man. The other one says, we wouldn't touch you with a 10-foot pole. And beauty is in the eye of probably one beholder.
It is a wildly subjective business. You can ask anybody about any particular announcer that is known by somebody. You can find some people who love that individual, and you can find some people who don't like what that individual does. It is just so subjective. So you got to have the right person like your work, and then it's also got to be the right time. And it kind of winds me back to I was telling somebody about this the other day. We were talking about Sounds pitching, and Jeremy Accardo is our terrific pitching coach here with the Sounds, and we were talking last year about a pitcher on the Sounds who was pitching well and had not yet gotten an opportunity in the big leagues. And Jeremy said, I tell these guys, sometimes it's just not your time yet. And that is, I think, true in some regards in broadcasting. You can have someone that is high up in some place that thinks you're decent at what you do. That doesn't mean they have the opportunity to bring you on. So there's just so many factors that have to go in to a person trying to climb a mountain. And it's you have to like where you're at and what you do. And I'm thankful that I can say that no matter where this path is continuing to wind for me.
And some of where I'm coming from in this, I worked with a guy that was a major league broadcaster in Bob Jameson. He was the Sounds announcer, but he was truly like you, a major league quality announcer long before the California Angels ever hired him. Mm-hmm. And, I just saw the battle at a really young age. I mean, I was in college learning all this and watching Bob trying to teach this little snot-nosed me and also trying to get to the major leagues. And it is a tough battle. There's no doubt about it. Now, I'm about to throw one at you that you're like, where in the hell did this come from? Okay, so I'm out at your game a couple of nights ago. Actually, it may have been the last homestand. It was one of the deals, one of the nights where you could challenge balls and strikes.
Yeah.
And when I have been out at the park and they have the ability to challenge on that scoreboard balls and strikes, it is clockwork. It's within 15 seconds and boom, you've got an answer, which is what we have all hoped that replay could be, but in the other sports it really hadn't been. So I can't tell you how disappointed I was when Rob Manfred came out a few weeks ago. I think it was a cover your butt kind of deal where he said, we're not going to this in 2025 because we haven't made the progress on the minor league level that I think we need to. And I was like, what is he talking about?
Well, there's two parts to it, and I read the same thing that you're referring to because, as you know, the other half of the time out here, when we don't have the challenge system, we have the automatic ball strike system where the umpire is just getting a signal in his earpiece about what the computer saw, and there's no challenge. So I think the overwhelming majority are in favor of the challenge system compared to the automatic ball strike system. And so a component of that article, I think, was Manfred admitting that the ABS, the automatic system without the challenge portion, has not drawn the favorable reviews that they wondered it might. So I'm optimistic that the challenge system has some staying power. At our level, I would have gone to it.
Well, I think we lost Jeff.
I think we lost Jeff. Wow. But let's read the comment. Manfred cannot install this in the show until C.B. Buckner is unemployed. C.B. Buckner is probably the umpire that has caught the most crap before Angel Hernandez.
Oh, there we go.
So that's a pretty funny. Okay, we lost you.
Sorry
I don't
about
know
that,
if,
George. Yeah.
Did Rob Manfred pull the plug on you?
Yeah, right. Manfred heard the topic and jumped on my phone. No, that was me not putting my phone on Do Not Disturb before I joined you. I'm a rookie here. So the challenge system is great. I think everybody that I've talked to likes it. I like that there's a strategy to it. You only get 3 of them, and you lose it unless you win a challenge. If you win a challenge, you keep it. So you can't burn through them in the second inning, or you might be done with them by the end of the game. So you're right. It's quick. Everybody puts it on everybody's video board. Everybody's on the same page. You can see it's like tennis, in or out on the line. Everybody gets to see how close.
We lost him again.
Manfred called him
again. Yeah. Billy, did you have anything for Jeff? I'll answer it for it. Well, there he is again.
There we go.
He's really after you.
I know what the call is, and it's not Rob. Don't worry. But suffice it to say, the challenge system, I think, has a bright future, certainly at AAA, hopefully at the big league level, because it combines the best of all worlds. Catchers' receiving skills still matter. There's strategy to it. It's quick. Everybody gets to see the outcome. There's no secrets behind it. And the plate umpires overall are really good almost all the time. So in that rare exception where they're not, if you've got challenges left, you've got recourse. And so it's the best of all worlds. I'm glad you saw it and liked it, because I've not heard anybody who's felt differently than that. And we're still doing 50-50. So we'll have it tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday. The last 3 nights we've had the automatic system where there's no challenging. That just feels kind of sterile. And the receiving skills of catchers, who are paid handsomely to be good at that, don't matter in the ABS. That's a detriment, I think, to going that route. Doesn't matter where you catch the ball. If it went through the strike zone, it's a strike. And so sometimes you get the catcher grabbing one down near the shoe tops of the batter, and it gets called a strike because it swept through the zone, and everybody's looking around like, how was that a strike? But it did. So visually, it just sometimes doesn't look right. So hopefully the challenge system has some staying power. And when Mr. Manfred calls me, I'll be happy to share that feedback for him.
Give him my number. He has not responded to my requests for interviews.
Yeah, sure.
Anyway, listen, Great having you on as always. It's fun talking ball with you. Have a great weekend, and I'll keep my fingers crossed on the weather.
I look forward to talking to you guys every week. Appreciate you having me on.
That is one good guy right there and a darn good announcer. Jeff Him is the play-by-play voice of the Nashville Sounds. Love having him on each and every week during baseball season. Okay, after the break, I'm going to open up the phones. I'll also tell you there's been a dramatic development in the Tennessee game. The Vols have gone long ball again. Honk if you've heard that before. It's now 11-5 Big Orange, bottom of the seventh in Knoxville. It looks like they're going to go up 1-0, and game 2 will be tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, pregame at 4:30 in the morning. Who knows when? It's crazy. Either way, we're going to open up the phone lines. I want to hear from 3 hearty souls. You may be on your way home. You may just be sitting around, but I want 3 of you to jump in on those lines, and let's see where we're going. 615-844-5600. Again, 615-844-5600. We will go to the break by telling you you're listening to the George Plaster Show on 95.9 FM. As you might be able to tell, my buddy Stan Harrison, he's an Alabama Crimson Tide fan, but he's actually here to talk about Apple Collision Centers.
Hello, Middle Tennessee. I'm Stan Harrison, CEO of Apple Collision Centers, and we understand the stress it causes in having an automobile accident. We can help you ease the stress of the auto body repair process at our 3 locations. We're conveniently located in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. We've got rental cars available, we have PDR technicians available, and we have windshield technicians available. Please stop by one of our places and see us if you need our services.
And by the way, when you come in his office, this just in, he's a sports fan.
You were in a crash.
Yeah.
Your kids were in the car with you.
We're very lucky to even be telling this story to you. Nikki treated us like family, and she was very caring and loving, and I'm just so grateful for that. She was somebody I could trust, and being a veteran, that's so important to me. My kids are going to have a better life now because I don't have to worry about those expenses that we were out. Your family has really created a legacy of trust, and I would recommend you to anyone.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2024 season. Spend your nights and weekends at the ballpark with weekly giveaways, fireworks shows, throwback deals, live music, and more. Top talent will take the field at First Horizon Park against the AAA Minnesota Twins, Baltimore Orioles, Atlanta Braves, St. Louis Cardinals, Cincinnati Reds, and more. Tickets start at just $10 and are available now at NashvilleSounds.com. We will see you in Hit City.
For over 35 years, Wilson Bank & Trust has been committed to providing customized banking solutions to help individuals, families, and businesses in Tennessee achieve their goals. As your full-service community bank, we are proud to offer loans with competitive rates, local decision-making, and fast, friendly service from our experienced lenders. No matter where you are on your financial journey, Wilson Bank & Trust is ready to help you take the next step. Visit your nearest Wilson Bank & Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormone deficiencies and imbalances, and Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and wife Daphne, along with their experienced staff, give men the treatment required to improve their quality of life, improve your immune system, energy level, cognitive function, and more. There's no better time to achieve a healthy lifestyle. What are you waiting for? Give Cool Springs MD a call today for an appointment at 615-486-3458 or visit the website coolspringsmd.com.
Those who care.
Okay, we are back 11-5 Tennessee, top 8. Evansville has a runner at first and one out. Let's take some phone calls. Let's start in Murfreesboro. Jeff, listening to us on 107.9. Welcome.
How's it going, George?
Good. How are you?
Good. That game's over. You can go ahead and go to Saturday, so that game's pretty much over with. But I did see the call earlier about the interference. I'm sure they had a double play and they put the guy back at first. So I don't know what the I know they reviewed it. So, but yeah, that game's over. I guess they'll play tomorrow, and Tennessee will probably win. So, but I did want to say, George, you were talking a couple weeks ago about the judgment came out about the schools and paying the athletes and stuff, the schools and everything.
Yeah.
Well, okay, if you believe that these big schools like the SEC and all these bigger want to share with the small schools, no, they don't want to share nothing. Because I had a friend of mine told me, he said what they should do is all these small schools, the group of fives and the FCS, he said they should break off and have their own, you can start their own organization, call it whatever you want to call it, and all the sports they've got have their own tournament. Have their own tournament, their own level for football, basketball, all of it, baseball, everything, softball, and just break off and don't fool with these big schools. But like I said today, he said the SEC and Big Ten, he said people know this guy wrote a column today, and the headline is Sankey determined to alter March Madness. He says college sports, he said they know, he says these people know that the SEC and Big Ten can take their toys and build their own sandbox to play in. They know it. Because I was at Blue Raider Blitz about 10 days ago, and McDavid said that the smaller conferences, the Conference USAs and the American, that the SEC will not schedule. They will not play them. Sankey told them not to. Don't be scheduling these teams. Don't schedule the Middle Tennessees and the Kennesaw States or whatever it is, the Jacksonville States. Don't schedule. Don't play them. Because he said, like, for example, he said if we scheduled, if Middle Tennessee schedules UT Martin, that they want to guarantee like 100,000 to come here, to come play in Murfreesboro. And we don't have that kind of money. And stuff. He's tried with Barnes, and Barnes told him, no, I can't do it. I can't play you, or such and such, such and such. So, I mean, if you believe they want to share the money, you're wrong. I mean, you're so wrong. It's unreal. They want to do their own thing, and if they do, it's fine by me. But as far as I'm concerned, I would say he was fired tomorrow as SEC commissioner. I can't stand him. The only way he got the job is Mike Slive died. That's the only way he got the job. He passed away. They put him up there. He had no experience at all. They just put him in the position. I don't know how you feel about it. I know you don't like Sankey too much, but I'll just hang up, listen, get your thoughts. Thanks.
Thank you, Ed. I don't think you like him. No, I'm not a big Greg Sankey fan. Because, he's been good for the SEC. When he got Oklahoma and Texas, that was a home run. But it has hurt college athletics, and I don't think he cares about that. Now, I hear him talk about that he wants to be a statesman. Well, a statesman, to me, is a person that tries to see the big picture as well as what his own, employment is. And I think for SEC purposes, Sankey's done fine. For the good of the game, I think he sucks.
Yeah, he's. I think Jeff is gone, George. But I can't say I disagree with y'all on that one.
You know what I don't understand, Billy, is I agree with Jeff that the smaller schools need to just tell the big schools to kiss off. We'll go do our own thing. Now, what I don't know is, can they get any money for the little guy tournaments? You definitely lose something in the NCAA tournament if the little guy isn't there. And that's really unfortunate. But if they break off, can you blame them?
No, you can't blame them. I mean, but my question is, if the little guy gets left out, does that end up hurting the Power Five at all? Because, we talked about it with a lot of those Sun Belt teams, and, Jeff brought up MTSU. Still got some pretty decent sized fan bases there. So I wonder how that really does ultimately affect the Power Five if the little guy does break off.
Well, I'll take it one step further in this. If you remember in COVID, when the SEC, that they all played each other. They played a 10-game football season, and it was all against SEC schools. They found out then we need to mix in a little UL Monroe and a little North Texas and a little. They're about to bite off a little more than they can chew, and that's just my opinion. I may end up being wrong, but that's what I think. Let me go real quickly. Will and Franklin. Will, I got a couple of minutes. Go ahead.
Hey, George, I'm just sitting here watching this Vols game. If they are able to get through, and let's say the favorites from them other super regionals end up in Omaha too, would you put the Vols, given their, problems in Omaha, are they still the favorites? If, Texas A&M and Kentucky are there too, would you put them as the favorites going into the Final Eight?
I would give you an answer of barely. First of all, is Tennessee's hitting at national championship level? Sure looks like it. Is their pitching at national championship level? I don't really think so. I hope for their sake that I'm wrong, but I don't think it's at national championship level. And I think there's this deal when you go to Omaha that you better know how to play some small ball. And, in postseason, it's all been at Lindsey Nelson. And, Billy, I think that's I wonder.
Yeah, I mean, you're playing with fire. You get so used to that comfort of Lindsey Nelson, and then you go to Omaha, you face a white-hot pitcher, and that other team's playing some small ball. That's tough to do. It's tough to continue hitting those home runs in Omaha. So I'm with you, George. It does say a lot. They get back to Omaha, but I think the next step for Tennessee is winning a national title. And, I don't know that I'm 100% confident they can, just like you with their pitching this year.
We got two callers, I think, who are on the line. If you will, do me a favor, hang on the line, because when we come back to start the 5 o'clock hour, we will take your phone calls. If somebody else wants to get on, 615-844-5600. We'll wrap up hour number 1 by telling you you're listening to the George Plaster Show on 95.9 FM.
Good afternoon. The police were working a couple of ranks a few minutes ago. 40 eastbound here at Demumbrian and Broadway. Also 40 east out there around Donaldson Pike, but it was way over to the side. It's pretty crowded out through there now on 40 East as you head out through Hermitage, continuing into Wilson County, which looks pretty good actually through the Mount Juliet area. Watch for radar, not only there, but 24 out in Murfreesboro. Prince's Hot Chicken has new items on a new menu. Check them out this weekend. PrincesHotChicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
You were in a crash.
Yeah.
Your kids were in the car with you.
We're very lucky to even be telling this story to you. Nikki treated us like family, and she was very caring and loving, and I'm just so grateful for that. She was somebody I could trust, and being a veteran, that's so important to me. My kids are going to have a better life now because I don't have to worry about those expenses that we were out. Your family has really created a legacy of trust, and I would recommend you to anyone.
For over 35 years, Wilson Bank & Trust has been committed to providing customized banking solutions to help individuals, families, and businesses in Tennessee achieve their goals. As your full-service community bank, we are proud to offer loans with competitive rates, local decision-making, and fast, friendly service from our experienced lenders. No matter where you are on your financial journey, Wilson Bank & Trust is ready to help you take the next step. Visit your nearest Wilson Bank & Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
Approaching the top of the hour here on the George Plaster Show. It's now time for Stat of the Day, brought to you by John English Antique Sports and Cards in Shelbyville. They're open during the week, Tuesday through Friday, noon to 5, and Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 5. Give them a call, 931-492-4304. All right, George, no Kelly, no Danny today, but here we go. Danny Hurley is going to coach the Lakers potentially. Nothing official yet, but that's what's out in the ether. Leaving college basketball for the glitz of the NBA. Who was the last college coach to make that jump?
Oh, wow. Last college coach to make the jump to the NBA. I'm going to give you a wild one because nobody's heard from him in a while. John Beilein left Michigan to be the Cleveland Cavaliers coach. I don't know if that's right or not, but I'm going with him.
You, sir, are correct.
Oh, yeah.
That's
impressive. I feel good about that.
And,
yeah, Beilein, I think Beilein regrets leaving Michigan. The Cavaliers thing didn't work out. Beilein's a really good coach, and I'm surprised some school at some level has not jumped in to get him.
Yeah, I forgot that happened too. Intern Ty puts on the graphic, I forgot this happened. He was really good at Michigan. Did they not win a national title, George?
I
know they made one.
It seems like they were close. I don't think they won one. Anyway, I feel good. An over 500 week on my end for Stat of the Day. It's been a while since I've been able to say that.
That was good.
Ninth inning, Evansville is first and third with nobody out, down 11-5. We should have a final score shortly. We're done for hour number one. We'll go to the phones when we come back.
I'm Michelle Franzen. The latest jobs report showing 272,000 jobs added in May, beating expectations. ABC's Alexis Christoforous has more.
We were expecting this report to confirm what we thought was happening in the job market, that there was this steady slowdown. Instead, it smashed estimates, defying expectations, adding more than 80,000 jobs than expected.
Healthcare, government and leisure, and hospitality seeing the biggest gains. Following D-Day commemorations, President Biden is in Paris for a state visit and meetings tomorrow with French President Emmanuel Macron, both leaders warning about threats to democracy today. Earlier, the president met with Ukraine's President Zelensky, announcing a new $225 million U.S. security package to defend against Russian attacks. The floating humanitarian pier off the coast of Gaza, damaged by rough seas, has been repaired. U.S. Central Command says aid shipments should resume in the coming days. This is ABC News.
From groan-worthy dad jokes to patching up skinned knees, your dad is one of a kind. Here's a Father's Day gift guaranteed to take him to his happy place, Omaha Steaks. Order mouthwatering gift packages starting at just $89 at omahasteaks.com with promo code QUALITY at checkout. Show your dad the love he deserves with an unconditional money-back guaranteed gift as unforgettable as he is. Visit omahasteaks.com, code QUALITY at checkout. Omaha Steaks, America's original butcher.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
Stirring fiber, exercising, frequent trips to the store for more laxatives and fiber. Sounds like your constipation with belly pain is a lot to manage. But if your symptoms that keep coming back are signs of irritable bowel syndrome with constipation or IBS-C, ask your doctor how Linzess can help you get ahead of it. Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio. Here we go. From the Nashville Sports Radio Media Complex. Welcome back to the George Plaster Show. Call George now at 615-844-5600 and online at WNSR.com. And now, George Plaster.
Featuring Tennessee Sports Hall of Famer Watson Brown, Tennessee Sports Hall of Famer Kelly Holcomb, along with young gun Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
It will be an abbreviated 5 o'clock hour. We bolt near the bottom of the hour for Atlanta Braves baseball. They're in the nation's capital tonight to take on the Nats. Chris Sale will do the honors for my team. If you're looking to watch it on Comcast, good luck to you.
Good luck.
Billy, yes, good luck. Billy, if you will, give me a quick NCAA tournament scoreboard update.
Yeah, George, earlier today, Florida State just walloped UConn 24-4. And that is a baseball game. That is not a football game. So Florida State takes a 1-0 series lead in that one. And as we know, George, right now, Tennessee and Evansville going on. Tennessee leads 11-6 in the top of the ninth. Evansville has a couple runners on, though. So they are still threatening in that one. And, of course, we've got a couple more games tonight as well. So those are the games that have happened and are going on right now.
Okay, we're going to take a few more phone calls. If you want to get in, jump in, because I got room for you and time for you. 615-844-5600. Brian, listening on 107.9 over in Murfreesboro, thank you for waiting.
What's going on?
I'm good. Hope you're good.
Yeah, so, y'all were talking about Tennessee's weaknesses. I mean, assuming they make it to Omaha, assuming they handle Evansville this weekend. So what would be some of their strengths in Omaha? I know you and Billy at the start of the show were talking about, how they had multiple weaknesses with their pitching and, playing at a small ballpark. But what would be some of their strengths? Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah. Okay, Billy, let's go with this first of all. Huge desire to get over the hump. They've been good now for 3 years, and there's got to be a real incentive to knock down that door and get the big one. What you find out when you get there is those other 7 teams are really good, and it ain't easy.
It's never easy in Omaha. Never is. And, for Tennessee, you're right. They've got the motivation, George. They'll have a chip on their shoulder. They haven't won the first game in Omaha under Tony Vitello. He's been there 7 years. This would be their fourth appearance. In their first few appearances, they haven't won the first game. And when you don't win the first game, you put yourself a little bit behind the eight ball. It's hard to get out of that loser's bracket. You saw with a lot of those Vandy teams, they were able to get that first win under their belt, and anytime you can do that, that's huge. So that's motivation for them. And, George, I think just because of their bats, anybody can beat you in that lineup. I mean, you saw Hunter Ensley hit a home run. He's got 10 on the season. They've got to have – I mean, their whole lineup has double-digit home runs, I think, or at least close to it now. So if they can get some doubles, I mean, maybe they don't get the ball out of the ballpark, but hit the gaps, they're going to have to play some small ball. Pitching is not a strength of theirs in Omaha. I don't think it – well, I could be wrong about that. We saw Chase Burns last year, shove against Stanford and put them back into a game against LSU, but they don't have a Chase Burns this year. Drew Beam is, really good. AJ Causey's really good. Maybe he can pitch well in Omaha, but the bats, George, I mean, if Tennessee wins the national title, it's going to be because of their bats.
Absolutely it is. Evansville's making it a little nervous time. Bases loaded, nobody out.
Ooh.
Tennessee up 11-6, and they just got a huge strikeout. So it's bases loaded, one out. As soon as we have a final, we'll get it to you. Tony in Nolensville, good to hear from you. How you doing?
Hello, George. Hello, Billy. George, don't you love this interaction with the callers?
Oh, gosh. It's the piece that I have missed for a couple of years because, for a 30-year period, this has sort of been the lifeblood of what I do. So, absolutely, heck yeah.
And just so many topics are thrown at you. It's fun. It's like rapid fire a little bit. So, I want to echo on Jeff's comment. George, back 4 or 5 years ago, me, you, Terry, and Watson talked about this, that somewhere with these mega conferences, superpower conferences that are being created, it is almost pushing the group of 5 conferences to the side. And even though they say they're increasing the number of the playoffs, now it's at 12, they're already talking about 14, we know good and well it's not about trying to put the mid-majors in there. It's about getting another of the Power Fives in the playoffs. And I just think somewhere the group of fives might have to branch off and be like the FCS schools, maybe have their own division, go to if the bowl games still work with them in a somewhat capacity. ESPN supports all those bowl games anyway. And if that could be done that way, I could almost see this coming. But as you said earlier, these Power Fives still need that little cupcake on their schedules, and they can't beat up on each other 12, 13, 14 weeks in a row. They got to have some soft scheduling in there also. So I'm going to let you talk about that a little bit and get your take. So,
hey, don't go anywhere.
Have a great, safe weekend, buddy. See ya.
Tony, hold on with us if you're there. He's not there. Tennessee is one strike away. They have gotten back-to-back strikeouts with the bases loaded, and
this Aaron Combs guy is legit. He closed it out.
Yeah, because he's throwing strikes.
He closed it out against LSU in the SEC title, and now here he is. This is the kind of pitching performance Tennessee will need in Omaha.
Oh, amen. Here's what I don't get, and off of Tony's phone call, this is the piece of this that to me is missing. And I'm sitting over here watching. I got a TV over here to the left. If you don't believe it, watch closely. There's the old TV. So we're watching the Tennessee game. That may not have been great television, but what the heck. Here's what I don't get. Why are the group of fives not having some big summit that's very well advertised that everybody knows about where you have the 10 best minds in group of 5 getting together for a weekend. Tennessee just won, by the way. I guess they got 3 strikeouts in a row.
Yep.
And won 11-6. What a great job of relief pitching.
Phenomenal.
Wow. That's the kind of thing you need if you're going to win in Omaha.
Yeah, one win away from Omaha. And so, obviously I think they'll be there. You're going to have Combs do that. You're going to have Kirby Connell pitch better than he just did because Connell, gave up that run and then put another 2 guys on base. So, we talk about Combs, but Kirby Connell's going to have to step it up in Omaha as well.
So back on what I was yapping about, here's what I don't understand. Why are you not getting the 8 to 10 best minds in the group of 5 world? And by the way, if I were picking it, Chris Massaro at middle would be on that list, where they get together for a weekend at some posh resort in Florida, and they sit around and they bat around the good and the bad. Because the one negotiating thing I think they have is exactly what Tony brought up earlier. The SEC coaches learned during that COVID year that they don't want to play 10 in a row of Godzillas. When the SEC played 10 in a row, you knew Vandy was in deep doo-doo. You just did. But a lot of the schools that are in the 7-5 to 10-2 category need that breather in between the Godzillas. To me, that is the single best negotiating point that the group of 5 has, is to say, fine, you want to beat the hell out of each other? Go do it. You continue to treat us like crap, and we will bolt. That's their best negotiating.
Yeah, and, Kirby, Nick Saban's not in it anymore, but Heupel and most of the SEC coaches are going to tell you the same exact thing. They want UTC on their schedule still, and you mentioned Vanderbilt. The SEC schools want Vanderbilt in the conference still. And so that's a good point, George. That you don't want an all SEC schedule. I mean, who wants that? So that's the biggest point. I agree with you, because you take those cupcakes per se off, then it gets even harder, and I don't think any coach wants that.
What I don't get, and maybe this is just me doing some yapping, but if I'm one of those group of 5 people, I am basically picking out who I think are the 8 to 10 most knowledgeable, most influential AD types on that level, and I'm getting them all together, and I am letting the world know we're doing it. I am letting the Power Fives know exactly what's going on. I'm aiming it right at Greg Sankey. I'm basically making him enemy number 1. You are not a friend of ours, and we're about to play hardball with you with what little leverage we do have. And Billy, I believe that is their best piece of leverage is, fine, you want us to go away, you all can just beat the hell out of each other. Let's see how that works.
And I think it's a good point. I think you'll have some ADs that do that, whether it's Massaro or you start to think about some of the other ADs, whether it's a Western Kentucky, not sure who their AD is, George, but like they don't have zero leverage. They've got some of their own. It might not feel like they do, but those are proud schools, and so they deserve to be remembered and still looked at and covered. And I think that's what's frustrating people like Kelly, who played at middle, and a couple of our callers that love those schools. So no, that's a great point.
If you gave me an hour off the air and the assignment was, I've been hired to come up with those 8 or 10 people and put a site together, I could do it like that. We're not talking about rocket science.
And it would work.
Well, I think it would, because I believe there's this attitude that, we have nothing to negotiate with. The SEC and the Big Ten will simply bludgeon us. Well, yeah, there's a lot of truth to that. But what I'm bringing up in the sport that matters the most is you let those coaches have to play 12. You think about it. If the SEC schools had nothing to play but themselves, the coaches would bitch up a storm. And you know it, and I know it. It wouldn't take long.
No,
That's what the group of five, that is their leverage.
100%. Amen. I couldn't say any more.
Gosh, I ought to run for commissioner, shouldn't I? The czar of college athletics. Well, okay, whatever. We'll go to the break on that. And then when we come back, I intend to make you some money. I'm proud to say I'm on a one-game winning streak. It's pathetic that one game is now a winning streak, but when you're 22 under 500, such is the case. You're listening to the George Plaster Show on 95.9 FM.
It was the most horrible experience that any mother could ever go through. I knew that I needed to get help. My friend, she immediately said, "You need to call Bart Durham." And you guys were there within an hour. You guys are like family for us.
Yeah, sure is nice to connect with the people that you're doing your best to help.
Nashville, get ready for the greatest show on turf. Electrifying, high-octane, non-stop spring football action. Starting at only $30. Don't miss the season opener this April 27th at Municipal Auditorium.
Hi, I'm Jeff Fisher. The Nashville Cats are bringing arena football back to Nashville.
Grab your tickets now at thenashvillecats.com and be part of the action.
Year number 2 of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night was awesome. And the reason is really simple. I chose Strike and Spare, and they were amazing. They have great food, great bowling, and a staff that is truly ready to go the extra mile to help you. They have 5 family fun centers in the area to choose from. And for more info, go to strikeandspare.com or call them at 615-824-5688. Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
Seeking candidates with all levels of experience, Star Leasing Company has a semi-trailer technician trainee program with sign-on and quarterly bonuses and other opportunities such as $1,000 for having a yearly physical. Package also includes 401k with company match, health, dental, and vision insurance, competitive pay with weekly paychecks, and paid holidays and time off. Star Leasing Company, not your typical semi-trailer leasing company. It's starleasing.com to learn more.
Here's Stan Harrison for Apple Collision Centers.
Hello, George. We at Apple Collision Centers understand the stress that auto body repair process can put in your day-to-day lives. We at Apple Collision Centers, we have 3 convenient locations, Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin, ready to serve you. You can stop by and get an estimate, or you can get one online at www.applecollisioncenters.com.
Final segment on a Friday here on 95.9 FM, the George Plaster Show, and it's now time for Bet of the Day, brought to you by Bart Durham Injury Law. Give them a call, 615-242-9000, or log on to bartdurham.com. All right, George, let's check out what happened first last night. Celtics won and covered. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. It's pathetic that one victory needs to get that much applause, but it's true.
I mean, they came close. What was the margin, George, last night of that?
They got within 8.
Okay, so got within 8.
Got within 8 and lost by, was it 20?
Yeah.
17, so something like that?
Maybe you were sweating there late third quarter, early fourth, but they pulled through for you, so good end of the week.
It's about time. So, by the way, the latest of the super regional games is going on. West Virginia and North Carolina are scoreless. Earlier today, UConn did not show up. Florida State 24-4. Danny Hurley apparently must have spoken to the baseball team and told him he was leaving to go to the Lakers. I don't know what that was about. And then Tennessee held on to beat Evansville 11-6. The Purple Aces had the bases loaded in the 9th inning, down by 5, and whiff, back-to-back-to-back strikeouts to end the game. Okay, let's go now with where I'm going. I've got 3 plays this weekend, and I'm going to add a 4th, and you're going to get a good laugh out of the 4th one.
Okay, how about I verbalize it and then you explain the pick, George?
Okay.
Florida Panthers -140 over Edmonton tomorrow night.
Only one reason for that. Florida's the home team. It's as simple as that. Nothing more, nothing less. This feels like a series that could go 7. I think it's going to be very tight. I think Florida's going to win a lot of the games in Florida, and I think Edmonton's going to win a lot of the games up in Canada, and that's a big reversal from what has been going on throughout the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Dallas Mavericks +7.5 at Boston on Sunday night. Interesting.
Okay. Do I think Dallas is going to win the game? Heck no. But here's what I think has to happen. Dallas has got to show Boston early that this is not going to be a Boston Tea Party. This is not going to be a cakewalk. And that when they get to Dallas, all hell's going to break loose. It's going to be a little warm down there, and you're going to feel the heat. Not that the Mavs are going to win Sunday night, but they're going to leave Boston a little calling card that says, not so fast, my friend. In fact, let me do it. Corso. Not so fast, my friend. So I don't think they're going to win, but I do think they're going to cover in a really good game.
I'm with you on that. I think they'll bounce back, and Kyrie will play better. But you still need that third guy. P.J. Watch is probably going to play a little bit better there for Dallas as well. Third play, you do have a 4th, but third play, betting against the Oakland Athletics again. Toronto Blue Jays -155 on the money line tonight against the A's.
It's no vote of confidence at Toronto. They are the most underachieving team this side of the Astros, or the Padres, for that matter. I can't figure out why Toronto is floundering. Would I be shocked if there's a managerial change soon in Toronto? I wouldn't be, because their lineup is too good to be this bad. former Sound Chris Bassett tonight. He gets it done in front of friends and relatives in Oakland at the Mausoleum.
If they show up, even.
It just depends on the weather. So I got one last one for you. Guess who's lost 14 in a row?
Would it be the old White Sox?
Yes, the White Sox. Until they win, keep going against them. You like that?
That's not a bad fourth extra play there. I don't hate that.
Well, I think it's just sort of this thing that you have to do when you get a team on one of these streaks. You'll see a lot of people say, okay, I'm going to keep betting it until it goes away.
Just ride it out. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, are the White Sox capable of losing a few more? Oh, yeah. There's a reason they suck. It's because they're bad.
Yeah, they're on pace for fewer wins or the most losses since the 1962 Mets, I think is what the number was. So
they got beat last night at home. I think it was 14-2. Hold on a minute. Let me look that one up really quick. I think it was 14-2, which is a lovely number, and it was 14-2. So we congratulate the White Sox for scoring a couple of runs.
Yeah, they got a couple across.
Yeah,
that's sad, and you start to wonder, do they stay up there? Does this force the hand of ownership, I guess you could say? And I'm not saying Nashville, but you never know.
Okay, here's what I think you can look for there. They're going to fire the manager. I would give the over-under the All-Star break, and I think it's before then. I think they fire the manager, and it's not really his fault. Some injuries have not helped them, but I think they have a massive fire sale at the trade deadline of whatever useful products they have. The Andrew Benintendi's, Eloy Jimenez, Luis Roberts. They're going to have a fire sale. They're going to go really young because what else is there for them to do?
And it makes matters worse watching that empty, old, ugly park. That's sad.
Oh, it isn't. It's a mausoleum as well.
Yeah.
Kind of a concrete mausoleum. Okay, so Tennessee wins today. They can clinch Omaha tomorrow morning. As ridiculous as this sounds, 10 o'clock Nashville time for the first pitch. If you're a Tennessee fan, get your pastry, get out of bed, and get fired up.
Have a good weekend.
Billy, you have a good one as well. Thanks to all of you for being with us. Monday, interesting show. Terry McCormick in the first hour to talk Titans, and then we'll go over to North Carolina and talk about a piece of legislation that might get some athletic directors' attention. We're out of here. Have a good weekend. See ya.